Welcome back, Mr. Goodberry. The First Star Logistics studio is fully equipped and ready to record.
Welcome back to Bengals on the Brain, presented by First Star Logistics. I'm your host, Joe Goodberry, continuing our look in preparation for the 2025 NFL Draft, sticking with defensive ends because there's a bunch. You know, if you're asking about a specific player, we're either getting to it or he's not projected to be in consideration at 17. Now, the combine will change some of that. There'll be a couple guys added to this that we'll go back and see. And yes, we will focus on day 2 and day 3 gems that we think are worthy of our time in video prep. If there are players that we don't get to on Bengals on the Brain, you'll probably see them on my Twitter account at Joe Goodberry or see discussion there. You can ask me questions there. I will try to reply in some of these comments too as well on YouTube. So make sure you comment on the First Star YouTube media page. And this next one is an interesting one because a lot of people are excited about him, especially after the Senior Bowl. I don't want to give it away too much. I want to leave my evaluation. And if you're a subscriber on Twitter, you already know because I didn't record right away after watching the film because I was sick, getting over it. So if you hear me a little bit now, I'm feeling fine, but you may hear my voice crack a little bit here. When you're looking at Shemar Stewart out of Texas A&M, you have to remember a few things. This is a guy that's physically gifted, cut, big, long, strong, has everything you look for in a defensive end. The size is really impressive. He'll have some flash plays, some flash plays that will get you really excited. In the Senior Bowl, he looked good, but when you slow it down and watch him a little bit closer, and then you look at the advanced data, I start to get nervous, and I'm going to break that down completely. We've got 2 games here that I think represent Shemar Stewart the best. I've watched 4 games at this point. There's one more that I was told I should watch, so I'll make sure I get back to that one. Maybe that's the secret game that'll convince me not to give it away. Let's jump into Shemar Stewart. This is Texas A&M versus Arkansas. Shemar Stewart, number 4 over there. He's going to play, I should say that before we start going too much. He's going to play left end. He's going to play D tackle. He's going to play nose tackle. He's going to play the D tackle on this side, and he's going to play right end. What you won't see too often is him being really wide out here. So let's start with that because it's going to paint a big picture of him. You're never going to see him super wide, just absolutely hunting the quarterback. And that is going to be something he will do in the NFL. And that is something he did at the Senior Bowl week where he looked his best. So we are not getting those, and it's going to affect the evaluation. And I have to remember that as we go and talk about him. So here's Shemar Stewart, number 4. He starts this game with the long sleeves, and right away he's jumping over guys and looking athletic, right, as they try to cut block him right away. And that's a sign of athleticism and knowing how people are attacking you, using your hands to keep them at bay, landing on your feet, all good things. Again, nose tackle type in the A gap. He's going to loop around, come all the way around, miss this tackle here, which we will have quite a few missed tackles from him in this game. And that ultimately leads to a long touchdown by Arkansas. So now he's on the other side. So 3 snaps now. We've got him all over the defensive line. He's going to jab inside, get the left tackle to step inside with him and just beat him because he's a better athlete going outside. But does he actually beat him? Here's the problem. Yeah, I know he's getting chipped by that D end also. But you got to say that Stewart probably could do a better job of knocking this hand down right here. Like we just go with a rip. How about we try to knock it down first or get it out of the way first? That hand never comes off. Maybe doesn't have the face mask, doesn't have the pad here. I can't really tell. Either way, you don't knock that hand off of yourself. I don't know what word I was saying there. You don't knock that hand off, and now you don't have a clear, easy win to that quarterback, and it gives the running back time to come and load up and hit you in the midsection to completely stop you. So I think he has 7 pressures in that game. I think that counts as 1, so if we can count them while this happens. 7 pressures in the game, great. Let's see how they happen. That one right there, you didn't clearly win with your moves. You won with your athleticism, though. You got that guy to move for you. Here he is at D tackle again. Going to try and split through these 2 guys and tries to recover this fumble, and he just misses it. 54 gets it instead. Little late off the ball. I don't know if you noticed that. If I can go back just a little bit. This is something I'm going to point out a lot with him. He's late or off balance at the snap a lot. So he's late there. His eyes are completely inside, right? He's looking because the quarterback's faking this pitch. And he's like, all right, does that guy have it? Do I need to crash down the line? Oh, no, that receiver's got it. Kind of need my guy to react a little bit quicker to that, but Shemar Stewart is down there to end up help make the tackle downfield. So I like that. I like the hustle from him there. Run play, everyone. So this is the first two drives. Arkansas goes down the field. They score on both. That's not a huge knock on Shemar Stewart there. I just wanted to paint the picture of what's going on in this game. Texas A&M early in this one, first quarter, was struggling to stop them. So now we have Stewart on right defensive end here versus the left tackle, which I think was the better matchup, even though that right tackle looks huge for them. And we've got a read option play here. Quarterback locking eyes with Stewart off the snap. Stewart blows this thing up and causes a forced fumble. That is a huge play. This is a play they're going to show. And I think there's one more. I can't remember what game it was. There was one more time he does this in his tape from this year where they just aren't fast enough to get the play off because he's such a freak. Like this guy's going to test. He's going to run a 4.5 at this size at 290. That's Mario Williams size. That like it's crazy. Mario Williams. You guys probably know who that is if you're young. Was the first overall pick. But Shemar Stewart, what he does is at that size, he does that a couple times. That's nuts. But you're leaving him unblocked. I mean, that's perfect for him. Here he is, reading the run, fighting off of it. As he sees now, the quarterback is bootlegging, going out. We got a missed tackle by 25. Come on, Stewart, hunt him down, finish it. Get those legs. Unable to. Switch him over to the other side now. Go against a little bit bigger tackle. Maybe go in between against the guard. So that was probably pressure number 2. The play I just showed where he dove, right? That has to be pressure number 2. This is pressure number 3. So again, he doesn't beat anyone on all 3 pressures so far. I wouldn't say he's beaten anyone. Goes with the long arm move, doesn't land it. So now he cuts back inside. He's reaching for that quarterback. That might be pressure number 4. You tell me if these are high quality pressures or not. Maybe I'm tripping. That is possible. I like the way he defends the run here, though. He is one of the best run defenders based on PFF grades. We'll go over the data after the second video. But locking that guy out, lifting him up, getting him out of there. Like, look at this in slow motion. Watch the knee bend. Watch him drop his weight and into his butt. Lift up. Torque that guy out of there. I'm not fully sure he knows where the ball is, but he finds it eventually and makes the tackle. Goes for an inside move here and misses a tackle on the running back. Slow to get up. Looks like he's getting some of his conditioning could be questioned at times, even though he looks freakishly athletic. I do wonder at times as he jogs through plays and the way he gets up sometimes. If he's hurting, something like that. Going with that long arm again here. Try and open up that outside shoulder, right? If we're going to hit this outside shoulder, because you can do either one. You can lift on the inside and try and work back in, or you can open or hit this outside shoulder and get him to open his hips that way, which gives me the angle to the quarterback, right? Does that make sense? Did I explain that clearly? My head's still a little foggy and underwater. Not quick enough to get around the edge and win that. This play I got a lot of problems with, and I hope I replayed it. I don't think I did. So let's try and go back just a little bit here. Because, okay, so he goes with an inside step again. Remember, this is the first pressure he did that on this guy. This guy doesn't fall for it anymore, this left tackle. And now we're going to go outside. But what is that move? Was that a rip move? Because, man, you've got to do something before that. You can't just go and try and rip it. It's not working. He got locked up there pretty easily. And I don't know who the Arkansas left tackle is. This ball ends up being intercepted, so win for the defense. But we're going to get better angles here now. I think this is now either the third or fourth quarter it's got to be the third quarter. We flip it around, get some better angles here of what's going on. He's getting locked out by this. I don't know if it's a receiver or a tight end, but when that guy comes in motion and then blocks you and is able to lock, you're 6'6", 290 with a 90 PFF run defense grade. I don't want my guy getting locked out like that. So we're trying to win around the outside again. Let's see if I can go back to this one because I do want to point out. All right, so there. Now we're actually hitting this outside arm. For the first time in all these plays, we're actually knocking this outside arm down, right? You beat that outside arm, you get this one knocked down, and now we've got a clear path to the quarterback. So how does he react now that he's got that? And how does it go from here? He's unable to cut, right? You see what I'm saying there? If I go back and let it play fully now, when he gets to the apex of the arc, can he cut? Can he turn the corner? See, he doesn't fully win either. That guy got his hand back up on him, didn't he? I should have put this one in slow motion. Yeah, that hand got right back. So if you're going to knock it down, you got to swipe it out of there. That's why you need both hands. Because if you're just doing everything with one hand, it is so hard to stay clean. And that's why he can't cut the corner. He's got resistance on him. Going inside against the guard this time, gets locked up. Is that another pressure then? Is that pressure number 5? This might be pressure number 5. And again, it's circumstantial, right? It's all based on being unblocked and rolling the pocket towards him. Okay. Switching back to the other side. Laid off the ball. Can't win with his hands. You see his hands miss on that. Quarterback throws it away. He's reading here. He's reading a screen or the run. So it's just an example that like Texas A&M isn't allowing him to just attack all the time. But I don't know where his plan is. I don't know what the pass rush plan involves. There's a screen that might be pressure number 6. I don't, like that guy let you go because the screen pass is coming in. He's calling for a screen here. Let's see. Is that what it is? As he goes inside, it's not a screen, it's a run play. And he's running around, just kind of jogging with the play. Does he know where the ball is right there? It's the Jerry World sun in his face, maybe. The sunset's getting him. Here he's just getting locked up, but you get your hand up, you knock it down. Hey, be a long, tall dude that can do that. We will take that. That's a positive. All right, let's try and go around the outside, use some power to get back in on the quarterback. That might be pressure number 6 or 7, depending on which ones we're counting earlier. A little power getting to the quarterback. We'll take that. We'll take some long arm. There's against the run, dips inside. Oh, misses the tackle on the running back, but strings him out enough for the defense to do the job. Get partial credit there. Working against the center, getting completely washed out of the play. That might be pressure number 7 now that the quarterback ran back into it. We'll have to decide how we want to count these. Going against the guard. Come on, let's beat this guard. All right, going for the batted pass, getting the passing lane. That's okay. You can do that, especially if you don't have much of a pass rush plan. All right, let's try and dip inside. Now let's fight through these guys. You just don't ever see the hands do anything. Again, like if we win cleanly, we're not going to end up eating dirt on the ground. Let me bring it back. I thought I slowed this one down. Guess I did not. All right, you're just going with the speed to the outside, rip, and that's it. Just going to force yourself to rip around. The guy's got you still. He's still on your shoulder. You've never moved that hand off your shoulder. So now you're getting ridden around the edge and getting dumped behind the quarterback. Come on, Shemar, do something. Pull something off. And you know what stinks about it, before we go too far, is Nick Scorton over here. You actually see him pull off some moves. We're going to watch him soon. And there's a number 18 that gets rotated in every once in a while for them too. And he looks like the best pass rusher. He pulls off some moves. I'm like, okay, so they're teaching them something. And I'm watching Shemar Stewart here. It looks like he's going for the cross chop, maybe. We're going to go back and figure out what he's doing. I forgot at this point. But he's on the ground again, no surprise, as he's getting driven around the arc and past the quarterback. So let's see what he does here. Hey, it's just the hand usage again. Let's slow her down and bring it all the way back. So I don't know what the hop is. So the angle already kills me because what's it look like he's running directly at the quarterback, right? Give him some space. Let him face forward. All right, so there we're going with a long arm to a chop, maybe. Chop doesn't work. It gets the hand down maybe a little bit, but gets the hand to the face. Not ideal. The other hand lands on his back, shoulder or hip area. Anywhere from the back to the hip is where the right hand wants to land for that tackle as he tries to push you and drive you around. And he gets it there. Do you have the agility and lower body strength and flexibility to run that arc? Maybe if your hands are landing, but his hands are not landing where they want him to land. All right, through the middle. Can we get this pressure? Ball stripped. End of the game. That's how they win. Okay, jumping into the next game is versus LSU, and it's important why I wanted to have this game. This isn't his best game. I think South Carolina, I think Arkansas were two of his best games. The Notre Dame game is okay. The LSU game is okay. Not great, though. I mean, depending on where you want to draft him, you'll be partial depending on that. This guy right here, Will Campbell, probably a top 5 pick. So anytime you see him going against him, that's great. This guard is probably a mid-rounder. This right tackle is probably a mid-rounder. So a lot of NFL talent on this offensive line. It's why I want to show this game because it's not the best for him. Spoiler. But this is what you're going to see in the NFL. So we want to know, can he beat good players to be worth the first round pick? Let's put him up against Will Campbell, who has great hands, by the way. You'll notice it in this game. We're going with that long arm right away, and we're going to get the hand battle, right? Long arm, power guys with long arms, the Miles Murphys types, they want to do this. Campbell doesn't have that length. It says one knock on him. And you can see there, he's out length at this point, right? But the other hand still has to win for Shemar Stewart. You see it tries to knock up and knock away the hand of Campbell. Campbell's going to retract it, and he's going to be the one to grab Shemar Stewart's hand. So as his hand got knocked away, Campbell pulled it back in and grabbed the wrist of Shemar Stewart here, and now he's under control. Now I've got you. Now, unless you can throw me down, push me down, Campbell sinks, anchors, locks him out. The quarterback felt no pressure from Shemar Stewart there on Will Campbell's side. And he was losing the initial battle with that strike, with that long arm to start that rush. So it was a good play by him. Not so great, or at least goes along with the issues we're going to have with Shemar Stewart, is that his hands just do not win nearly enough. Here he is, though, thumping Campbell in the backfield as the run's coming in. And I drop my pen. As he just doesn't, and then he never sees the running back. Does he know where the running back is? I mean, look how long it took him to turn around and realize the run was going right next to him. All right. Go at that outside rush. Does he know when the ball is out or no? Because to me, I think I saw this in quite a few games watching Shemar Stewart where I felt like he kept rushing. So you say he's going to go with the long arm. I like the angle here. I like that his arm's in. He's going to try and fork knife him. Fork knife. Fork truck. I'm fork truck certified, and I call it a fork knife. But my point was, what I see a lot is he continues to rush as if he doesn't know where the ball is. And even there, he's hitting the quarterback, right? So that can be a bit dangerous. You can defend the run, lock this guy out until Jason Taylor's son, comes over and clears him out and knocks Shemar Stewart to the ground. Just seeing a nice physical battle between Campbell and Stewart there. That's why I left that play in. A couple of rhinos locking horns. Campbell locks him out again. Good hand usage. Good balance. Again, where we go here, we want that long arm. Are his elbows double jointed? You'll see those things bend backwards a ton. Look how long he is right there. Why does the long arm work? It's a good example to show. So his hand's right here, right? But you've got all the way to here is your arm, as everyone is connected, but you also have all the way this distance too. When you turn your body this way and reach, try and reach forward. Do this with me. Reach forward. Can you reach your monitor? Well, it depends on where you all are and what you're doing. Now turn, keep that one shoulder in the same spot. How much further can you reach, right? So if you've never played, that may clear it up for you. Why the long arm is liked so much, gives you so much control. But then Campbell knocks that thing down, and now you're leaning inside of him. He wanted to use that long arm to generate this power. Campbell knocks it down. Now you're forced to go right into his chest. He's got you under control. He's going to sink and anchor. It's a battle, but Campbell keeps coming out on top at the end of these. So we're going to switch it to the other side and try and get through this big right tackle they have. Nothing there. These guys went at it in the Senior Bowl quite a few times too, and it was interesting to watch. You see these, right? Like he's not affecting these tackles at all with his moves, with his hands. They're not. So he's coming here. He's going to try and chop this outside arm, and now he's turning it into a long arm. And like this looks good from a still shot standpoint. His angle, right? He's got a great angle here. He's forcing that power into that shoulder, but you've got to get clean at some point. And he just can't get off the guy. Now the ball's coming out. So maybe a longer developing play, maybe he would have done something, but you've got to affect these guys earlier, quicker. Your secondary move has to come much faster. He just looks off balance from the start, right? Did you see that from his get-go? Like his get off here is off balance. How often he does this too is you'll see him falling at the snap. See, do you see the way he was falling? Now his get off steps are side to side. He's losing speed. He's losing timing. And he's getting locked out completely. And sure, he gets dumped to the ground and he's got to take the pancake. I mean, we're talking about a guy with, people are saying top 10 ability. We haven't seen any of that yet. He's gotten embarrassed more times than any. There's a win around the outside corner. There we go. I set it up. Perfect timing. I knew this play was coming up. I remembered. Good get off this time. Very straight. You see how his legs are his path. I should just draw it. Last time he was stepping like this, trying to gain his balance. This time it's more. That's the sound it makes when you step very cleanly. And he's swatting that outside arm. Got it, right? You see him knock it down. Now you can dip around it as Campbell tries to get this arm back up and onto you somehow. He's dipping his shoulder around it so that you never see it. He's got to rip with this arm to make sure he stays clean. But if you got the agility to cut this corner, you've got a straight path to the quarterback here. You've got a very good win in the first phase of the pass rush. Maybe that's the second because his get off was good first phase. Second phase, the win with the initial hand. You've got to win here. Now let's finish it. Oh, you don't have the agility. I'm afraid he doesn't have the agility. I mean, he's falling on the ground. He got pushed around the arc. How did you end up getting pushed around the arc? You won. You knocked the hand down. You had the win. So maybe he'll be better inside. Oh, God. You two are first round picks. Is that Scorton? It is. Scorton and Stewart. You don't know what the other guys are doing on the D-line? Who got the missed call there? They're running directly into each other. Tries to go with the dip to power on Campbell. Campbell eats it. Sinks. Nothing. No problem for him. He's got Mason Taylor here. Mason Taylor locks him out. Does his job so the quarterback can get outside the pocket. Here we go. There's a big run play. We wait all game for one of these. You know, we both games so far. We just want to watch one where he gets in the backfield and makes a big play. He's got one of these every single game. Is that enough to be worth a first round pick? Did you see him off balance there again? Look at him. He's got to put his hand down. His snap timing's so bad. His balance is so bad. He's got to put his hand on the ground. So his get off is affected. Hand usage is affected by it because the hands, what's the first thing that landed there? Was the right tackle's hands locking him up right to the chest. You're not dictating to the tackle anymore when you're off balance, off the snap. All right, next play here. Come on, get off that ball. There we go. We try a little inside, outside. Same way you beat that Arkansas left tackle early. We're going to fake it inside. Now go out. Hey, you've got this arm in a situation. He is overextended. He's reached out way across his body here. You got this arm coming right here to rip upwards. Can you get it off you? Can you use two hands and get it off you? What can you do? What can you provide here for me in order to win this corner now? Can you do it? Nothing. That was nothing. You gave him nothing to beat him. A singular rip is not going to do it. It needs to be a combination of moves. You need to land two hits more than likely in order to win in the NFL level. Now, that's what he can do. When I have seen him rush and win, it's like, dude, you got some raw, nasty power. And even there, Campbell does a great job sinking and doing just enough to keep himself from giving up the sack, where you see Shemar Stewart reach over and get a hand on the quarterback there, number 13. Like, it's just bull rushes. If you're coaching them right now, it's like, I just need bull rushes from you. We'll worry about your hands later. There's two in a row right there where it looks like you can tell the power, the burst in power is there. Tries for it again here now. Let's watch the hand usage. Let's see if Campbell can sit on it a little bit better. He gets off the ball better than, I just watched Shemar Stewart take 2 steps here in slow motion and make no ground off the snap. Let's see. 2 steps. He just replaced. He's got a bad get off again. So let's watch the hand usage now. Goes for the shimmy to the power. Campbell's not even worrying about the shimmy at this point. You haven't beat me around the outside. Why would I worry about it? Come through me. I'm waiting on you. So he gets that hand. Look at right there. Shemar's actually, for the first time in a while, has his hands locked around the wrist of Campbell. He's squeezing him. He's going to lift him out of there. This is bad for Campbell. Bad situation for Campbell to be in. Let's see if Campbell can recover. Pull that hand away while he wins with the right hand. Pulled his left hand away. Sink his legs so far behind him. This guy sinks. He drops anchor, man. Drop his entire butt. Look at the hand usage. Look at the battle. Shemar Stewart again is trying to lock out Campbell's left arm from recovering. Let's see if it can. Never does for Campbell. But Campbell, because he's locked in with that one hand the whole time, I wonder if Shemar knows he can use two hands at once. Because you never broke that other one. If he could have lifted both, maybe gotten both out of there. It's an interesting hand battle in slow motion. Take a shot to the face and never land your hands again on that one. You got a better chance against this right tackle. Let's see. That right tackle just torqued you out of there, huh? Did you guys see that? Go back a little. Yeah, you got underneath him, but then he threw you out of the club. And there's Scorton making the play on the other side. I don't know if you guys have noticed Scorton at all. These aren't every one of Scorton's snaps, but if you want to get an idea, he's a lot thicker. You see that, right? He's a thicker guy, but his moves and his awareness are a little bit better. You see how he fights through and then makes like that vision on the ball carrier. You'll see him hit these moves once in a while too, and you go, all right, maybe there's a little something there. He won't be an elite athlete, but definitely a guy that can help. All right, again, we're getting off. How is our get off that bad still? Maybe you can fix that, and that can be the difference in him. All right, so we're coming off a little off balance, going with a long arm. Now he's just trying to maintain to the outside. To his credit here, stay to the outside. We got a blitz coming this way, and he does that. So, but I'd like to see a better get off. I still like to see his feet land and actually propel him and push him. That can be fixed. He looks off balance there again. Mason Taylor blocks him. Tight end blocks him. Nice battle there. Both guys going at it a little bit. Pushing and shoving. He's in a defensive tackle now. Going to try and go outside of Campbell. Can't do much. Switch Stewart to the other side. Ends up going low and getting driven out of the play. Bad miss by 13. Go with power again on Campbell. Campbell ends up eating it pretty well there. I'd like to watch that one more time with you guys. Go with the power, lift that arm out of there. Campbell does a good job resetting it. Again, Campbell kept that right arm locked up the whole time. We'll take proximity pressure, but I need a guy to win. Man, he thought it was in the clear there, didn't he? He's like, they didn't block me. Watch him. He's gonna be like, they didn't block me. Oh, yikes. Wham. Two guys there. There we go. We see that? Hey, we're going to go with the chop that arm down, get it out of there. Oh, that's a clean win. Now you got to protect yourself with the next move. The next move on this has to rip or something to protect that arm from coming back and getting you. That right arm. He missed with it. And there's the rip. Okay, there we go. So he went with a chop, double swipe, and then a rip. Fine. But he still got your shoulders a little bit. Can you turn that corner? You look like you might have. That might be his best rush we've seen in 2 games for sure. I mean, he's getting locked up by Campbell there. Campbell doesn't look stressed at all going against Shemar Stewart. We're just using all, what is it, just hope and a prayer pass rush? What do we got here? He just give me a rip again, and maybe I can magically get around the corner. All right, some goal line tush push scenario. I like the effort. I like him diving over the top there. Typically, we want our guys to go low, but he's a little bit outside here. He tries to go over the top and hit the quarterback. He does. 2 plays in a row, actually. I think he does this, but I couldn't. On the second play, there's not a great angle. That one was a good one. Hand usage missing twice. All right. You see it right there, right? He wanted to go with a long arm, but because Campbell came out and sat on him, the arm missed over the top of the shoulder. So now what can you do? Can you counter? Can you, what are you swiping? Just trying to rip? I mean, I think there he sees the plays. The ball's coming out. I'll just give up. I'll just concede. All right. Trying to go with the cross chop here. Did we get a win, though, with that? Nope. Doesn't look like you knocked any of those hands down. Running back gets a nice chip on you to neutralize you. Not sure Campbell needs it or not, but we'll take the chip anytime. Diving inside, just creating havoc. We're just, Shemar, you're just our bowling ball, is what it seems like the defense asked him to do. And the pass gets picked off. Interesting play. I mean, this is what it looks like when a guy gets 2 sacks per season only. Lots of somewhat pressures, but not finishing them. Let's talk about the data. Okay, so I think by now most people know that Shemar Stewart has a terrible pass rush win rate data, whether that's in true pass sets or your overall pass rush win rate. And I'll get his historicals, but I'm going to highlight him real quick. Shemar Stewart's right here, okay? This is where he ranks. Now, if we just start from the top, let's look at this is the good side. You see guys like Nick Bosa, Joey Bosa, Abdul Carter, James Pierce, who we talked about, Mike Green, Chase Young, Jared Verse, Chop Robinson, Myles Garrett, Will McDonald. We know he can rush the passer. Aiden Hutchinson, Derek Barnett, Kayvon Thibodeau. Like, that's a good list of guys. You got some guys in there that didn't make it. And Adike Uzama, Adafe Owe. Charles Harris has been a solid pass rusher. LJ Collier. But you would say 9 out of 10 of these guys are good. Even in this grouping, you'll take a lot of this as well. George Karlaftis, Jalen Phillips is a good rusher, Montez Sweat, Shaq Lawson, long career, Brian Burns. You will take guys like this. The hard part gets to when we say, okay, let's remove these guys and just look at the bottom left corner. And again, let's highlight Shemar Stewart. Who are the other guys down here? Tack McKinley, never worked out, right? Tyree Wilson, drafted really high. Greg Rousseau, this is probably the best case scenario for Shemar Stewart. Bradley Chubb, solid player. Marcus Davenport, never worked out. Clavon Chason, never worked out. Joe Tryon Shoyinka, never worked out. Lucas Van Ness, so far has taken steps, but hasn't. Jermaine Johnson, first round pick. Cleveland Farrell, Miles Murphy, Peyton Turner, Trayvon Walker, who's had a couple good years in a row now. Solomon Thomas. People that have followed me for a long time knew I love Solomon Thomas coming out of the draft. This is before I started looking deep at the data and saying, you kind of need to win in college level at a productive rate, at a high enough rate, in order for me to expect you to be a superstar in the NFL. There's a lot of players that have changed my mind on data. Solomon Thomas is one of the big ones for me for pass rush win rate. But you would say out of this grouping, and especially once you get down to that grouping, how can you ever take Miles Murphy here, right? How can you ever take Cleveland Farrell as high as you do? Trevon Walker, how can you do it? Peyton Turner, how can you do it? I'm not taking Shemar Stewart in the first round with that type. If you tell me Davenport, Clavon Chason, who just had a solid year, I'd take him as a free agent. If Greg Rousseau is his best case scenario, is that worth a first round pick? That is a scary first round pick. If you're telling me my high upside is Rousseau, but I could land amongst all these other guys here, not worth it. I can't do it. I cannot do it in the first round. To me, he looks like Danico Autry on tape. And I think Autry's a good player and has been a good player for a long time. But you find Danico Autry's in the mid rounds. I cannot recommend Shemar Stewart in the first. I cannot, not even sure I can recommend him in the second. It's just too risky for a guy that did not rush the passer well enough in college. He never will in the NFL to an elite level. He may be a 7, maybe 8 sack guy a year, but if he ever gets 15 sacks, I'd be shocked. And listen, if he ends up getting 15 sacks a year and developing way over what his expectation is for me right now, in the future, people will come back and clip that and say, this guy is an idiot. And I might be an idiot, but I'm an idiot with some backing from data. I'm going to go over a little bit more. So not only do we know his pass rush win rate is low, here's how it stacks up with the last classes over the last 10 years plus. Even this class, it's not good. So his career grade from PFF puts him in the 28.6 percentiles. Pass rush grade puts him in the 21st percentile. His run defense grade puts him in the 44th percentile. And I know this year he was really good, but this year was the first year he was really good. He was bad the last 2 years and then tremendous against the run this year for PFF. His pressure rate percentile, 43rd percentile. Pass rush win rate percentile, 41st. His sack and hit, so his production puts him in the 8.6 percentile. 8.6 percentile for producing as a pass rusher. I mean, how do you take that in the first round? There's nobody low, no one in the top. Savion Jones, a guy who was not even expected to get drafted, as 11.4 percentile. We're talking about this guy as a first round pick. It's not good. It's so low. You can't take that guy in the first round. I am scared to death that the Bengals would if he's available. And those are the things I have nightmares about. And that's why this has been Bengals on the Brain, presented by First Star Logistics. Until next time, Houday.
Hey, Dave Lapham here. While games are over for the season, there's no off-season for the First Star Media Group or First Star Logistics. Join me in the trenches and Joe Goodberry of Bengals on the Brain here on the First Star Media Group YouTube channel. First Star Logistics gave away great prizes during the season, which will continue with exclusive content and special giveaways during the off-season. So please subscribe to the channel and hit the like button to help us continue to grow the channel.